Second Power 5 team on the schedule so far. Just overall from Oregon's defense, what are you guys looking at this week?
Well, they've played pretty well these first two games. I know Nebraska kind of closed that gap, but there were some plays that were made that I'm sure they were disappointed in. You get up by that many points against a pretty good team, and you're probably just trying to hang on. Obviously, with Coach Levitt, being at Colorado and the defense they played when he was there, I think you certainly take note of that as well.
I know when everyone thinks of Oregon, they think of speed, maybe on the offensive side, but does that translate on the defensive end as well for something you guys have to worry about?
Yeah, I think on the back end, their secondary, their linebackers. Linebackers probably in particular the ones that stand out, really being able to run. The two inside guys are, I know one's leading the tackles right now, and up front they're active as well.
I think Josh said, on film what he's seen, it's kind of, you get you see what you get in terms of them maybe not disguising a whole lot. Is it just kind of a matter of lining up and beating them on the line of scrimmage, or?
Well, there's some truth to that. They play a scheme that certainly puts their guys in position to play their gaps and to be sound that way. So we have to get on guys, block guys, like any other week, and then on the flip side, hopefully get our skill guys on some safeties and those type of things, and win in those situations as much as possible.
With kind of some shifts and new guys on the O-line, I guess 2 games in, what's sort of your evaluation of where that's at?
Well, I think you got to be pleased. You have true freshmen out there that won jobs, and they've handled 2 really completely different situations as far as opponents fairly well. This last go wasn't without some mistakes, obviously, but I think both Logan and Alonzo are playing well. What you hope for is that they're going to have continued improvement. They're by no means maxed out. I mean, they're a long ways from maxed out. And the other one, Ryan's playing guard for the first time too, and so in some ways you feel like he's got that same room for growth on a weekly basis.
Right. I know a lot of people were probably surprised to see Alonzo out there instead of maybe Gavin at left guard. Was it just kind of a matter of Alonzo forcing your guys' hand that he had such a strong, ceiling and a strong camp, or did Gavin maybe not come along as much as you guys would have liked, or some of both?
I think initially you'd say the credit goes to Alonzo for sure, coming in and really showing up over those first couple of weeks. I think with Gavin's situation, there's twofold there. We were playing him at center, and not that that's stunted his growth, but it probably didn't help him from a guard perspective.
Right.
Logan becomes the eminent guy at center. Now he's back at guard, and at the end of the day, we want to get the 5 best guys out there, and we felt the combination that we went with for the first 2 games is that. Not that Gavin couldn't be productive if he got out there. And he's still young too. Gavin's a second-year guy. He played all last season, but he's only a second-year guy. So we are certainly, and he's got to keep moving forward. I think when Jace Webb went down, that inside situation from a depth perspective became a little bit more concerning, and that was part of the reason to look at Ryan inside too. So there was a lot of different factors, but it probably started with Alonzo strong fall camp.
Second half, last game against Gardner-Webb, obviously things kind of slowed down on offense, but you guys are up 24-0, don't maybe need to score as much, and is some of it that versus things not working, or some of it maybe just not, maybe wanted to play a little vanilla with that lead, or?
I think there's 2 things. In the third quarter, we had 1 possession.
Right.
And we got a first down, and then we had 6 plays. So that was disappointing that we couldn't turn that into a touchdown and get up 31-0. And then on the flip side, you do get in the fourth quarter, and they had moved the ball a little bit, hadn't scored. So at that point, you're probably looking to hang on, I guess. We certainly wanted to do it on the ground, and it was disappointing that we didn't. When we moved the ball down that last drive and we scored a touchdown, got called back. So, little bit different mode in the fourth quarter, but it was frustrating at the same point.
I think I saw on TV that Nick had his helmet on. If you guys had another drive, would you have taken Josh out with that lead, or was that still up?
That's part of it. You want to get up when you have an opportunity in games like that to get backups on the field. And Nick being one of them, one of a lot of guys that we would love to see get more time, especially in that fourth quarter. But the score didn't play out that way, and we'll have to figure out when the next opportunity might present itself.
And with the kind of game Austin had, and just having him as a weapon, how nice is that? Considering 2 years ago you guys didn't even know that he was going to be on the football team.
Yeah, I know he was one of the first kids we watched when we got here, and he said, "Boy, there's not a chance that that kid. I mean, just the type of football player he was as a senior." And then you learned his story a little bit, that he was leaning more basketball, and he came to Wyoming. And I know with some of the friends he had on the team, and even Coach Cooper's relationship that he kind of developed in that recruiting process, that we maybe knew that there was an outside chance, but by no means were we counting on it. And, even that first spring that Austin was out, it was like midway, so we really didn't get a chance to see what he could do. So where he's come in a short time, it's a blessing. It's a complete bonus that we're fortunate he came here as a basketball player, and that didn't work out, I guess.
Right. And I mean, I know he worked a lot in the offseason on kind of the more traditional receiver elements, but I mean, he's made some pretty good catches. Is he further along in that aspect than you guys expected right now?
Well, I think it was certainly our charge to him, our hope that he would be able to be an every down type of guy. And he's a very diligent kid, a very hard worker, and he took that seriously. And he had made, those, I thought, a lot of strides as we looked at spring ball compared to where he was in the fall. And if we can continue to get him the ball with a little space, he's going to continue to make plays. So the fact that it doesn't have to happen through a jet sweep or something more specialty-wise like it did last year, that's what we wanted, and Austin's lived up to this point.
And just in your experience as a coach, is that kind of speed and shiftiness and that package, is that pretty rare to have in a football player?
Well, I'm sure defensive coach would say Oregon's got a whole bunch of Austins out there. I don't know if it's rare. I think it's something that you hope to have at least one of those type of guys on your team. And I know our first couple of years we maybe didn't have that. And getting Austin and seeing what he could do last year was okay. We got 3 years left with this guy, and we got to do everything we can to put him in a position. And then recruit another kid kind of similar, Avante Cox, and just understanding size. It doesn't always define a football player. If you're elusive and you can get away from guys, you can be pretty effective. And that's why you can't have a ton of those guys, but you need a few of them for sure.